Ladies and gentlemen, arm wrestlers of all weight classes, welcome back to another pre-event interview for East vs. West 17. I'm your host, Ryan Turner, and I have the privilege today of sitting down with one of our elite athletes, Mindaugas Tarasaitis. How are you, Mindaugas?
Well, thank you for this nice introduction.
Yeah, of course.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good to see you again also.
Likewise. Last time we hung out, it was on the streets of Istanbul, and now we're in Texas.
Yep.
Where I reside, so a little bit easier travel for this interview. What's that?
Not for me.
Not for you, and unfortunately, you're the one who
It
needs
wasn't
to
too
be.
bad, actually.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Okay. How long total?
14, 15 hours.
That's not too bad, huh?
And we had a kid.
Oh man. Well,
But it's fine.
yeah. Well, there's plenty to do in Texas, so we'll make the trip worth your time. Before we get into his big match coming up, we have a few housekeeping items. First and foremost, we have a legendary card on Saturday, headlined by John Brzenk versus Yoshi Kanai. You can find a link to the pay-per-view in the description. Don't miss it. It's going to be huge, stacked card. Also, if you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, you could win a signed strap from Mindaugas himself. So, we'll look to see everyone in the comments, help engage, help support the community here, help Mindaugas, support him because he's got a big, big task ahead of him. So, let's get into things. What's going to be the final score on Saturday? What is it?
So we are talking about the match with Janis, right? Because they have two.
Let's give some context here, actually. I think this is a first in East versus West history. You were on a live stream, or rather, Hunter and Valen were on a live stream, and they called you live and asked if you wanted a left-handed match with Hunter, even though you already have a match with Giannis, right?
And to be honest with you, I did not even realize that they actually were live at the time.
Oh, really? You thought it was just a
talking-
phone call
yeah,
from
I was
Engin, you know, hey, how are you, Engin? No, it was live.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'll gladly take a match with Hunter as well.
Okay. And that doesn't bother you at all, having a right and left-hand match? You're no stranger to that.
No, normally, I remember I had similar experience before, and my conclusion was that it's a terrible decision to do it. But
we know.
I'm not here to decline matches. So,
Yeah. I respect that a lot. So, yeah, you have two matches on Saturday, I should clarify. One of them against Hunter, left hand. One of them against Giannis on right hand. So, let's start here. You actually said something very nice that I want to commend you for. You offered to help train Giannis with his weight training and diet, and you said you would even make him 30% stronger. Is that what Giannis needs? Does he need your help?
Well, to be honest, when I see him today, he looks massive. He
Does
really
he?
looks massive. He looks much better than I do.
He's sandbagging.
So, but I don't know. Like we will see how does the match go. If I am able to win,
Yep.
I feel like I could have some good advice for Giannis.
Okay.
But again, let's see. Maybe he doesn't actually need those. We will find out.
Yeah, a lot of people consider Giannis the master, you the student, but maybe it's the other way around after all. So, you and Giannis have some history. Can you take us through that history?
My memory is very bad, to be honest. So, but I'll try my best. I think I first met him in maybe 2011 or 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And then at the time I was very new. I think only a couple of years into the sport.
Okay.
So he completely destroyed him and me. And then I really felt like he was so big in comparison to me. Like his hand felt so big, so strong. So almost really felt unreachable.
Yeah.
And then since then, little by little, I felt like I was getting closer and closer and closer. I got lucky once, maybe 2016, 15, 17, something like that, where I managed to beat him at the tournament.
Yep.
Both him and Karsovsky, so it ended up being a pretty good tournament for myself. But then again, a year later from that, maybe I was a bit out of shape, so again I lost to him.
Yep.
And I think that was the last time we met officially.
Yeah. And that was, what, 6 years ago, you said?
No, I think 8 years ago.
8 years ago. And you have not pulled.
And have not officially pulled since then.
Wow. Okay.
We had some practice sessions together
Yeah.
where I felt pretty good, and I was happy about because I thought that it was possible for me to compete with Giannis.
Right.
So I think one session was in 2019 where I felt like, okay, I would have a chance. And then I think we were also even a year ago or 2 years ago, we had another practice where I also felt okay.
Okay.
So based on that, I was very confident. But again, maybe Janis wasn't at his best shape, and now he looks so ridiculous. So I am getting worried a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to do a live stream, but seeing them in person, you really get the perspective. Okay, so when you last met him, you lost, but I assume you're a much better version of yourself. Are we going to see the best Mindaugas ever on Saturday?
I am pretty sure that that's the case. Yeah, pretty
Really?
sure. I know that normally, like a few days before a match, I kind of feel skinny and not really so pumped. But normally, I will take some salts and I can double in size, hopefully. And then on the day, I feel like I know how to feel very good.
Yep. And 77 kilograms. What's your walk around weight? Did you have to cut for this event?
No.
Just walking in how you normally would?
Yeah, I was, I think, 77 and a half maybe a few weeks ago, and then dropped down to 76 and a half. So it's just kind of
Okay. So you're basically just
kind of
coming in as
around
you are.
77.
That's good. Nothing worse than having to cut right before a big match. Let's talk about how you see this match going. What are your advantages over Giannis? If you win, how does that look?
So yeah, I have two versions of the answer.
Okay.
Before coming here and seeing Giannis,
Yeah.
I thought I would really dominate. So just a nice full hand control, a little bit of drag,
Yep.
finish to the side 3 times in a row,
Sure. Easy
smiling,
day.
looking at the crowd, waving to everyone,
Yes, naturally.
feeling great. But now when I see him, I don't know, might be tougher than that, to be honest.
Really?
Tougher. I don't know, I still feel like I can really stop the match and control it, and I just know that I cannot give him too much time.
Yeah.
He has that special stickiness, which at first, like a few seconds in, he doesn't have it, and then maybe 10 seconds in, suddenly he becomes extra sticky.
All right.
That's what I felt from before, so
You want to get this done quick.
I think I have to get it done a bit quick.
Okay. Sure. Well, we saw a lot of that in your last match against Corey Miller. You won that 4-1, correct? Very dominant performance, but you did lose that one round. Can you tell me what happened there?
Yeah, Corey always, in that first round, he's able to get many athletes to the pin.
He's quick.
But he's also, Corey is letting his wrist go a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's like a small trick he has. And it's a great trick to surprise people in the tournament format. So you can maybe just kind of, because you don't expect people to
Not
let
at
him.
all.
Yeah, if he was trying to control,
Yep.
then maybe the match would stop. But he just keeps going without it and then gets a pin.
Right. So he gains a couple extra
Right.
inches or centimeters because he gives his wrist up, his actual
But in a
forearm
super
goes
match
down.
format,
Yeah.
it's maybe not the best strategy because you are giving your wrist away, and then maybe round 2, round 3, I'll start catching you, and then it will not be so good anymore. So I feel like, great for a tournament format, but not the best strategy for a tournament with the super match.
Okay. You also have a shared opponent with Giannis, Justin Bishop, right?
Yep.
And you both won 3-2.
And we both kind of struggled, I think.
Yeah, you both struggled a bit, but did come out on top. However, I'm hearing that Justin was in better shape against Giannis. Does that concern you at all? Does that give you some pause, shake the confidence a little
I
bit?
think I was in a bit bad shape when I fought Justin.
Yeah.
But also when Janis fought Justin, that was the 77 kilo class. When I fought Justin, I was 75, Justin was 85.
Oh,
So
that's a big gap.
right. So maybe that drop weight loss kind of equalizes things a little bit.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's 10 kilograms, 22 pounds. Yeah, that's a significant gap. Okay, so
And I feel like I'm much stronger now than at the time. So
really. Okay, speaking of strength, like we talked about, you suddenly have 2 matches on Saturday. One of them is going to be left hand. Can you talk to us a little bit about your left arm versus your right? We have a lot more data on your right arm. You are one of the best in the class. What about the left, though? Is it about the same, a little worse, a little better, perhaps?
So yeah, historically,
Yeah.
I was actually always better on the left
Really?
at the beginning, and all my better titles, like European titles, are I won first place on the left, and at the same time I couldn't win on the right.
Yes.
And then I had some injuries, so the right hand kind of got better, and left was just having trouble.
Okay.
But now I really want to test my left again, like it's slowly kind of getting to the same level.
Really?
And yeah, so I believe that I can really do well. So maybe my match with Hunter is actually a good practice match.
Yeah. That's going to be a good test. Well, you didn't hesitate. I listened to the call live. Again, Engen just called Mindaugas in the middle of a live stream with Valen and Hunter. And you were very brave. You said, let's do it on the spot. So that's very exciting. You mentioned some of your experience in Europeans. You have a lot of history in WAF. What are some of your greatest accomplishments in the sports? So for the people meeting you for the first time, help them to get to know Mindaugas a little better.
So, I always had this long game strategy where I was just slowly adding power, adding little by little, year by year. And I never cared too much about my achievements on my way to the top. But now, the recent achievement was beating Daniel Prokopchuk.
Yes.
I think that was a pretty big one. And maybe just winning this WAF while in Kazakhstan, which is normally a pretty hard thing to do, on both arms, by the way. So same tournament, both arms. Not many people can really do it because normally one arm just works a bit better and something.
Yeah, and like you said, Kazakhstan is like the arm wrestling capital of the world.
So winning world title, both arms, gold in Kazakhstan, that's a pretty big thing in my mind.
Yeah, there you go. So Giannis is going to have his weight cut out for him. Also, you mentioned when you first got started, it was it 2011, did you say? Or when did you first start arm
I think it was 2010.
10. Okay.
Or maybe 9. Maybe
Okay. How'd you find the sport?
I think I just found some small tournament in between the schools.
Yeah.
And then me and my classmate, we just went to see what's up.
Just to see what's up, and then you fell in love with it?
And then, I did quite well, but then I also lost. So I guess at that time I realized that, apparently there is such a sport as arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, we all had that experience, seeing it for the first time, being like, whoa, this is cool. What keeps you motivated?
I'm just having fun. I don't even have to be motivated.
I love it. You're just here to have a good time and beat a lot of people in the process.
I'm not doing anything which would be too difficult or I have to make sacrifice. I'm just kind of staying healthy and enjoying my time.
Okay. Speaking of staying healthy, can you tell us a little bit about your training? Do you train specifically for each opponent? Do you just have a system you follow? And what does your training look like? Is it mostly table, mostly weights? How do you prep for a match against a guy like Giannis? And Hunter, for that matter, now.
Right. So, I get my training is a little bit unusual.
Yeah.
People always are surprised to see that maybe I'm not working that hard in the gym. Mostly I'm just using it for recovery.
Okay.
But I guess maybe don't see the table time too much. So I guess that table time is the heavier, static kind of holding forward.
Sure.
And then I also have rubber bands for some muscle explosiveness and things like that. So if I have to prepare for, lately in the past, let's say 4 years, I'm feeling much more universal. Like I can do different techniques, not only my top roll.
Yeah.
So I feel like I know how to train for these 3 different techniques. Let's say press, hook, top roll.
Yeah.
And then I just choose whichever one I may need to improve against my upcoming opponent.
Okay. So you explicitly train each of those options so that you have them on the table. Because I think of you as an outside puller, but
but
you're
lately
not afraid to go inside.
I'm a bit different now.
Yeah.
And then for Giannis, I know that he's gonna try to top roll. I need to make sure that I don't lose my wrist.
Right.
So I can do something about that. Hunter, I know that he can both top roll and hook. I hope he top rolls.
Did you hear that, Hunter?
But if he doesn't, then I need to make sure that he doesn't fully hook me, right? So I can also do something about that.
Yeah.
And that's my type.
That's exciting. So you feel like even if you lose round 1, that doesn't mean you're going to lose the match because you have all these options. Is that correct?
I feel like in general, I'm thinking a bit more about the whole match strategy, like not just a single round.
Interesting.
Because many of our arm wrestlers, I notice they don't they focus on each, like round by round.
Right.
So they don't think about the next round or like. So I'm not afraid to lose a few rounds at first, just to kind of figure out some best approach to the match without killing myself in the first round.
That's interesting.
Because that would be a bit sad. Let's say you found some good technique while during the match, and then you cannot use it anymore because you are already damaged after
Right.
round one.
You went all in on the first round, and now it's just over. So you're okay giving up a round or two. That's part of your strategy.
Yeah, it is part of my strategy.
Yeah, and then you'll adapt. That is very smart. I'm so excited for this match. Tell me, where do you think we'll do both Giannis and Hunter? What are their advantages over you? What are you most worried about? I'll start with Giannis.
So yeah, Janis. I don't know how good is he now. He might be just crazy good, but assuming that I have a good guess about his level, I think he has some speed advantage. He will try to quickly get me out of the position. So I really need to make sure that I'm smart in the setup to kind of stop that attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say speed, a little bit of that explosiveness. Giannis might have more than I do.
Okay.
And then Hunter. Yeah, Hunter. I don't know too much about Hunter, to be honest. This will be a good check for me as well. How good is he? I would hope that I'm somehow just in general stronger still.
Right.
But seeing how he beat Justin Bishop on the left, for example, kind of scares me a little bit as well.
He's one of those freak athletes. This is exciting. I have to ask though. I keep hearing everyone calling you the GOAT. What is the story behind that?
Well, it is. Maybe it started as a joke, but I hope that one day maybe it will not be a joke anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. I think it was when I first met you, East versus West 7, I believe it was. You said something very interesting. You said, "I have figured out arm wrestling." I remember that completely. Yes, and a lot of people, they laughed. But I don't think as many people are laughing anymore, Mindaugas.
I feel like I'm not too far from actually figuring it out.
Yeah, I really feel like you have just been on a tear. I hear your name all the time. Do you really think you figured out arm wrestling? You think you got it?
No, to be honest, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I really understand all the techniques very well.
Yeah.
I understand how they match together against each other.
Yeah.
So that always helps me a lot to choose my strategy against any specific opponent. So I feel like I know how to train, I know how to recover, I know how to take care of myself. I know how to do it naturally.
Yeah.
Many athletes can maybe do it in different ways, but it's not that easy it's not always easy to do it naturally. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah. Good. And you mentioned understanding all the different techniques, and that leads me to the kind of age-old question in arm wrestling. How much of arm wrestling is technique versus strength? If you had to put numbers on it.
I think as soon as we get out of this amateur level and we go into professional sports, technique really doesn't mean that much anymore.
Because everyone knows.
Suddenly everyone knows how to use their strength, and it's all about power at the end.
Okay. And then how about speed versus power? Because in the elite level, speed certainly still plays a factor.
Yeah, it's for sure part of the game, and the rules are kind of also created in a way where speed has a value.
Yep.
But my strategy is somehow to maybe just forget the speed a little bit, focus more about power, and I'm just hoping that I can catch everyone. And,
So that is.
I'm sure it's still it's a good part of the game, but I'm not focused too much on speed.
Good. Okay, we are going to see a powerful Mindaugas on Saturday. Big 2-match event. Look at those guns. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I am stoked for Saturday. Once again, everybody, the link for the pay-per-view will be in the description. Also, like, share, subscribe, comment. You could win a signed strap from Mindaugas. I do want to give you the floor before we end it. Do you have a message for Giannis and or Hunter?
So Giannis, I don't think you should be afraid to lose. It's completely fine. And you might even think about retirement after this, but I'm not forcing it on you. So your decision. Hunter, I think Hunter will finally find out the real level of the top athletes. He might think that he knows it already, but he doesn't.
ominous message. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you subscribe. We got a lot more content coming, and the event is this Saturday. Don't miss it. We'll see you in the next one.